Hey guys, welcome back to my day 2 update. Today I just wanted to talk about some updates that I've made to the build and also share some concerns that I have around the single target and how I'm approaching it. So if you are experiencing similar issues, stay tuned and hopefully some of these tips will help you out. So first and foremost, the biggest problem with this build is the single target in my opinion. It has great mapping, but when it comes to single target, it is lacking. So one of the main causes for that is that we are heavily reliant on charges because we are a slayer. We are running 8 frenzy charges currently and 8 endurance charges. So our defenses is heavily reliant on our charges as well. Now, when we enter a boss fight, we typically have no charges. We have one minimum and one minimum frenzy, one minimum endurance charge. So one way to go around that is to spec into Mark of the Prey right here with the talent or the mastery where you 10% chance to gain a frenzy charge when you hit a mark enemy. And because we have Assassin's Mark on mark and hit, this will allow us to generate frenzy charges while hitting a boss. So that's how we take care of frenzy charges, and this is quite consistent because we are hitting quite fast. Now for endurance charges, I decided to throw in Enduring Cry. So this is on my button here where I activate it as I run through the map, or when I'm in a boss room I just click it, and as you can see I gain 3 endurance charges. And then this will go off cooldown and you'll be able to click it again to get more endurance charges. So one thing that I've actually was planning to do is this note right here. I am going to, for quality of life, I think it's better to get the increased charge duration. So that way when you have this up, it stays on for a lot longer. So I'm actually going to do that for all charges. This is much better. So that's how I sustain my endurance charges in a boss fight. And then I also have my General's Cry, which is automated by auto exertion right here. And then finally for power charge, you have your Assassin's Mark. Make sure you quality it up to 20% because that gives you 5% chance to grant a power charge when hit. So when you're hitting enemies, this will grant power charge. You don't have to kill the enemy. So those takes care of the 3 charges. It's very important that you are following these steps because when your charges are down, that is when everything just feels bad. You're hitting slow and nothing feels right. Second of all, attack speed. So if I'm using a Perseverance here, which as you can see gives you onslaught while fortified. However, when you upgrade to a 6 link, which I have here, fortify is not the best link for your setup. So one way you can get it is actually through the Eater of Wolves implicit. I'm still yet to got it yet, but it can roll melee hits, has a chance to fortify. That is what I'm trying to get, and that will allow you to have fortify and therefore have onslaught, which will significantly improve your attack speed. I currently also have fortify on my whirling blades, which is good for mapping. As you whirl through packs, it'll give you 20 stacks of fortify, but in bossing it's not as consistent. Alright, and then the next thing I want to talk about is crit. So I wasn't running critical strikes before, but as you can see, my critical strikes take quite a hit without it, and it becomes quite inconsistent without it. So in my opinion, I think it's quite important to run this along with the power charges and your diamond flask. You will end up having about 80% crit, which is good enough. So make sure you get crit, and you can get crit through Heartseeker, these wheels right here, and then finally I'm working on getting these points right here, which will give you extra crit as well. It's important to get at least 85 crit in my opinion. That way you are taking full advantage of the crit multiplier. Alright, next would be mana. So this is more of a quality of life thing. As you can see, we attack quite fast and then our mana actually drains, especially when you're whirling and you're hitting fast and you're not leeching. So one way to go around that is actually to craft non-channeling skills have reduced mana cost on your necklace and possibly your rings. I have yet to get the craft, but once you do, that will help out with the mana. I'm still looking for that craft. Alright, the next thing I have on the list is the in requirement, which was a tricky thing until I figured out how to go around it. If you notice your dagger, White Wind has a 131 in requirement, and you don't get a lot of in on the tree. As you can see, we are going around here, there's no ints. The only way to get int really is to get these 2 points here, but that's wasting 2 points, and you get some in here. So one way to get that is to get a very high int roll amulet like I do here. This is a 74 int. If you get a high int amulet, you don't have to get int on your rings, which allows you to be more flexible, and I'll talk about why that's important in a second. But one amulet with at least 70 plus int, I would say if you can, try to get what I have here, 74. And the other int you need is on a jewel, which is about 13 int. That's the only 2 places you need to get int, on your jewel and on your amulet. Nowhere else on my gear do I have int, because we run a lot of uniques, so it's hard to get int. But just with those 2 pieces, you're able to satisfy this int requirement. Now, which brings me to my next point, why you want to free up your ring slots, because I mean early on League Start you don't have a lot of currency. It's important to get accuracy on at least one of your rings. So right here I have accuracy along with life and a high resist. So if I wanted to fit int in here as well, it's going to be a very expensive ring. So accuracy is important because Frostblades, your chance to hit will tank as you gain higher levels. So it's important to get at least 1 accuracy roll, a high one if possible. Alright, so we have covered accuracy, and obviously it goes without saying, if you can get your 6-link as soon as possible, this will be a huge damage multiplier, and also a heat shiver, which I bought today at about 65 chaos. So these 2 pieces will quite significantly increase your damage. And that's it. That's the main tips I have around the build. The other thing I want to share with you is just a tip that if you haven't been using our financier, the currency exchange, I highly recommend it because it is so useful. For example, I was trying to run my high maps here for completion, and I needed Val Orbs or Alchemy, and I'm out of it. You can just go to your financier, currency exchange, select what you want, in this case Alchemy Orbs, and you have Chaos Orbs, and you probably you don't want to spend more than 8, so I just want to spend maybe 3 Chaos Orbs. This will get you 27. Place the order, boom, done, just like that. It's so easy. This is one of the best features I think they have implemented. You can do this for Val Orb, whatever orbs you want. I can just do 1, and then you get 1 to 1. You just hit place order, pay a small coin fee, and boom. So make sure to use that. It's super convenient. Alright, in the next footage here, I'll just show you a T13 or T15 map, I believe, and how the build feels. It feels pretty good. Only thing is single target, which once you fix that, it should be a lot better. So stay tuned, enjoy the video, and let me know what you think. Bye.